Assalamu alaikum, grade 8. Today we're going on to co-interior angles. So we need to understand what is co-interior angles. Okay, so when you have two parallel lines, right? So if I name these lines here that I have on my diagram here, I'm going to call it AB. This is line AB and this is line CD. If you remember, we did constructions of parallel lines. So when we have two parallel lines, it means that the distance between these two lines is equal all over. Okay, so when I want to say that AB is parallel to CD, I'm going to write it down like that. So that's going to be how I write it down in geometry. So I'm saying line AB is parallel to CD. When I see this arrows here, it's given to me in the diagram and it's telling me that line AB is parallel to CD. So when we see this a diagram like this, we have a line that is cutting through the two parallel lines, and this line here is called a transversal. Okay, so what does a transversal do? It cuts through two parallel lines. So and then there's a few rules that we need to learn about what happens when a transversal is cutting through a parallel lines. But first, what needs to come into your mind is when you're spotting parallel lines, you're going to see that parallel line sign there, and you're going to have to be able to write it there. So when we talk about co-interior angles, we are looking for a U shape in this transversal. So what I mean by that is that if you can see where X is and where Y is, right? I'm looking for a U shape inside this place, inside the transversal. So if I'm showing you here, can you see I'm drawing a U there? Okay, so what has happened is I've drawn a U there. Can you see that X and Y are inside of that U? Okay, right? It's a bit of a square U, but then we just call it a U shape in geometry, right? So because this transversal is cutting here, we have a U shape that is there. There's a rule about the angles that are inside this U here. So if we look at this angle X and Y, we can say that they add up to 180 degrees. So what are we saying when we have co-interior angles? Co-interior angles is angle X and angle Y. Why are they co-interior? Because the lines are parallel and there's a line cutting through there. So when we draw a U shape like this, we have co-interior angles, the angles inside co-interior there, right? But now if I have the angle A and angle B, right? Can you see angle A and angle B? They are also co-interior. So let me draw the U for you there. What we're looking for is another U shape there. Can you see that other U shape there? Sorry, that black is smudging a little bit. We've got another U shape there. So this means that these two angles, I've got another U shape on this side, inside there, that this angle plus this angle is also going to add up to 180 degrees. That's a theorem that we need to learn. Remember, I told you we have to learn a theorem, then we write down a statement, and then we have to give a reason, right? So if I need to write this down in a theorem, I'm going to say X plus Y is equals to 180 degrees. And why am I saying that? I'm going to say that they are co-interior angles. Okay, and I have to say that AB is parallel to CD. Why must I say AB is parallel to CD? You only get co-interior angles if you have parallel lines. So when you see a diagram with parallel lines, then you know I need to look for co-interior angles. So when there's a transversal cutting those parallel lines, you can see there's a U shape on this side. So X plus Y is my co-interior angles, and A and B on this side is my co-interior angles, and they are adding up to 180 degrees. So we need to learn it in this way here. What am I looking for when I look for co-interior angles? Okay, so I need to know that I have to have parallel lines. Okay, so I've got parallel lines, right? And then I also have a transversal that's cutting the parallel line, right? I'm looking for a U shape. So where's my U shape in this diagram? That's my U shape and that's my U shape. So then when you get used to it, you'll be able to spot it without drawing the U. And what is the rule about co-interior angles? co-interior angles add up to 180 degrees. So I've got another example here that I want to show you. Okay, so I've drawn two parallel lines here, which is AB is parallel to CD. Why am I saying they are parallel? My diagram is telling me, can you see the arrows? The diagram is telling me that they are parallel. So I've named the angles around here. We've named them X, X1, X2, X3, X4. We've named these Y, Y1, Y2, Y3, Y4. So we just named all those angles. Now, with going back to that question there, can you see where the U is? Can you see the transversal? There's the transversal cutting the line. Now I'm looking for the U's. Can you see the U's? Okay, so what I'm going to say is I'm looking for a U here on this side. That's one there. And I'm looking for another U which is on the side here. So remember there's two sides of the transversal. Can you see that? Okay, so what is my statement going to be? The angles inside here, X4 and X2, right? That's just the name of the angles. X4 and Y2, right? X4 plus Y2 is equals to how much? 180 degrees. And why am I saying it's equals to 180 degrees? They are co-interior angles, and my reason also is AB is parallel to CD. You have to learn how to write this down, and you have to study what is co-interior angles and when do I get a co-interior angle. So I know I've got a parallel line there, okay, and then you need a transversal that is cutting the parallel lines. Okay, and then we have, that's my transversal cutting it there, right? And then we have a U shape for co-interior angles. On either side of the transversal, you're looking for a U shape, and those angles are adding up to 180 degrees. So these two inside that U are equals to 180 degrees, and these two inside that U is equals to 180 degrees. So you've done straight angles, and you know when you're doing straight angles, you can find a value of an angle by saying, so for example, if they give you that this one is 100, you know that that one is going to be 80 degrees. Why? Because they're co-interior and they're going to add up to 180 degrees. So we have to learn how to write our statement. So for the yellow one there, what I've written now is X3 plus Y1. Can you see where's X3 and Y1? There's X3 and here's Y1. It's inside this U here, right? That is co-interior. X3 plus Y1 is equals to 180 degrees. I call it co-interior angles, and my reason is AB is parallel to CD. So remember again, please, okay, you're going to get a mark for writing this. You're going to get a mark to do that. You're going to get a mark to do that and a mark to do that. And then when you have calculations to do, you're going to get marks, okay? So I've just drawn another one here. And sometimes you'll see it in the questions where you have a parallel line. Okay, so here's one set of parallel lines there. Let's just name it. AB is parallel to CD. Can you see that? Okay, but now there's another set of parallel lines. Can you see there? So we've got EF is parallel to GH. Can you see that set of parallel lines? So what's going to happen? We're going to have a lot of co-interior angles. So let's try to find the co-interior angles here. So if you're looking at something like this here, here's AB is parallel to CD, right? This line is a transversal there. Can you see? It's cutting AB and CD. So what's going to be my co-interior angles? Here. Can you see my U there? I'm going to get co-interior angles there. And I'm going to get co-interior angles on the other side. So if I make a dot for you, you can see that this angle plus this angle is going to become co-interior. It's going to become, add them together, they're going to become 180 degrees. Then if I have an X and a Y here, if I'm adding those two up, they're going to become 180 degrees. Then I've got another transversal there. So if I'm looking at this transversal here, you can see I've got a U shape there, and I've got a U shape there, okay? And again, if I make dots for you there, you can see this angle and this angle are going to be equals to 180 degrees, and this angle plus this angle is going to be equals to 180 degrees. Okay, they're not equals to each other. This angle plus this angle is going to be 180. That's inside the u there. This angle plus this angle is 180. There's another u. Here I've got x plus y. Here's the angle here, and here's the angle there. And there's another u here. So this angle plus this angle is also going to be 180 degrees. Can you see how we find it? And then there's another set of parallel lines there. Okay, so I'm going to show you in the example how you work it out.